WNBA semis. I don't know if I want to break this into two parts, but I'm definitely going to start with the Aces and the Liberty. Yeah, I think the Liberty have kind of showed us that this Aces thing is kind of over with. The Aces should blow it up. They're too small. Their core players are aging. When I talk about core players, I mean their role players like Chelsea Gray, Alicia Clark, and Tiffany Hayes. They're all older. The lineup is small. I like Asia Wilson, but I do not like her as a center. And she's already a small center. And then you have four guards playing next to her. That closing lineup was so small, it's ridiculous. And they're down 0-2. They in danger of being swept. The biggest thing that I've noticed with the Aces this year is kind of the fall off of Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young. Now I know they both have kind of dealt with injuries, especially Chelsea Gray. Jackie Young, I think she's dealing with something that's kind of lingering. But game one, they was absolutely terrible. They just was absolutely terrible. I don't even have the stats. It was that bad. The only two people that showed up, well, it was a few people that showed up because I think Alicia Clark came in and had some good minutes off the bench. I think Kelsey Plum did her thing to a certain extent. Asia was solid, but game one was strictly about Brianna Stewart. She went absolutely nuclear in front of Spike Lee. She absolutely put on the show. Sabrina Ionescu, something like that. It's so hard saying her last name, but Sabrina, she had a good game, and I thought she took care of business. She hit some timely shots in that game one. Game two is what made it painfully obvious that this year the Aces are just outmatched because I thought Chelsea Gray was actually better, especially in that first quarter. I thought Jackie Young was better on the defensive end, and even especially in that third quarter, scoring wise. Kelsey Plum did struggle. She was in foul trouble, and she kind of got locked up by Sabrina. Tiffany Hayes actually played good off the bench, and she kind of closed out the game with Kelsey Plum. She was on the bench. I don't know if it was due to the foul situation or just because Becky Hammond understood that Kelsey just ain't have it that night. Kia Stokes is absolutely unplayable. I thought Asia Wilson played great, but I seen the difference between her and Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart was initiating offense, facilitating. I think Asia Wilson, somebody has to get her the ball. Like the first half, she kind of really wasn't getting the ball. Second half, she was unleashed and was able to do her thing. But I think that's one of the biggest things with Asia Wilson and the differentiator between her, Brianna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas, and even Nafisa Collier. Those other three great players can initiate the offense. You can pass it to them, they can bring the ball to the court, and they can facilitate for themselves or others. Asia Wilson kind of still has to be set up. Even though she's great, she still needs a guard, and her guards weren't all that hot, especially Kelsey Plum today. Alicia Clark had to guard Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart was facilitating in the first half. Sabrina closed it out in the second half with her shooting. Kelsey, not Kelsey, Thornton, she was getting to the hole. Vandersloot was getting to the hole. She had some defensive moments. She had a good block on Jackie Young. So the role players kind of stepped up for New York. Um, all in all, it was just kind of it, New York just kind of outclassed Vegas in game two. I don't know if anything can be changed. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up in a sweep, if we being honest. I just think they're too small. Five big, just Jonquil Jones. I didn't even mention Jonquil Jones. Just the size of the Liberty is just absolutely glaring when you look at them versus the Aces. And I think they should put this series away. Now, this next series, because I only spent 5 minutes on the Aces and the Liberty series, I think the Liberty got pretty much going to wrap it up. Um, the next series you have the Minnesota Lynx versus the Connecticut Sun. The Connecticut Sun already won game one behind Marina Mabry. I think she hit multiple threes in that game. I'm blanking on how many she hit. I think Alyssa Thomas is a top 3 player in the WNBA. She's like a Draymond Green type of player. Like she did whatever's wrong with her shoulder, she needs to go to the doctor to get this shit fixed. Uh, I don't understand why she's still shooting like that if she can't have surgery to fix that. But all in all, she still is a good player. I thought game one, it was the Marina Mabry show. So I think that was the biggest, and that was just one of the best trades in the WNBA since I've been paying attention to the WNBA. That was a great trade. Marina Mabry, she is the quintessential fit next to Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas is great in a lot of areas. She can facilitate, she can defend multiple positions, she rebounds, she just brings all around toughness. But Marina Mabry is a bucket. Alyssa Thomas, I wouldn't consider her a bucket. DeWanda Bonner has been hit and miss. Bree Jones, I think she's took a step back in this series. Dejanay Carrington was bad in game two. I can't remember off the top of my head what she did in game one. But I think game one was just the toughness of the Connecticut Sun is shown through. I think Alyssa Thomas does a great job on Nafisa Collier. I'm gonna get into her later. I think everything about the Connecticut Sun, they executed it well in game one. And then Marina Mabry, she kind of brought it home with her shooting. Game two, I think it was 6 or 7 players for the Minnesota Lynx that had 7 or more points, including like it was 4 players with 10 or more, and it was only 4 players over 7 points. I think it was only 3 players with over. No, it's 4 players over 7 points for the Connecticut Sun. I just think the depth. I think Minnesota is the best team in the WNBA, 1 through 10. They have 10 really good players, and I think they're the best team in terms of depth in amount of players that are actually good. I think I don't know. It's so hard for me to pick this series because it's tied 1-1, but Connecticut did still won on the road. So I have to really watch game 3 to see how I'm feeling. But I do want to say this. Whoever wins the series between Connecticut Sun and Minnesota Timberwolves, winner takes all. They beating the Liberty or the Aces. I know that kind of sounds crazy because the Liberty are still a really good team, but I think the defense of Connecticut, they match up well. Marina Mabry brings some scoring that could kind of offset the scoring for the Liberty. I think Minnesota is just as deep, and we already seen what they did to them in the Commissioner's Cup. So I just think this series, whoever wins this series, wins the whole thing because I think these are the 2 best teams. Um, and it might sound crazy because Liberty are a really good team too, but it's just a personal feeling. I think the winner of the Connecticut Sun and Minnesota Lynx will win the WNBA title. That's just a personal opinion. Now, I don't know, man. Nafisa Collier hasn't been great. I think Alyssa Thomas has done a really great job on her. But the thing about Nafisa Collier, what makes her the second best player in the WNBA to me, is she does pretty much everything else. She had 12 rebounds. She had 5 assists. Um, she had just multiple great defensive efforts. Courtney Williams had 17. Kayla McBride, she had some big shots. Alana Smith actually was making threes today. She was 3 for 4 from 3. It was a complete team effort. I love what Hans Allen brings off the bench. She brings a toughness that the Minnesota Lynx didn't have earlier in the season. And I think that was another great trade in the WNBA. I think both of these teams made great in-season trades that kind of might propel them to a WNBA title. And I think this is the best series so far of the WNBA playoffs. Even though the game between the Aces and Liberty in game 2 was a good game, I just think Connecticut and Minnesota are playing at a different level. I know it kind of get ugly at times with the shooting percentages and a little low scoring. But in terms of just competitive basketball, I love it, man. I love it, man. So that's just my breakdown of the WNBA semifinals. If I had to pick who was my favorite to win it all, I like Minnesota. I said Minnesota will win it all. I'm still thinking that. But Connecticut, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think they need just more from Dejanay Carrington and Bree Jones, and then maybe because you had a good effort from Alyssa Thomas scoring wise. Her and DeWanna Bonner both had 17. I don't know if DeWanna Bonner is going to string another game like that. You don't waste a DeWanna Bonner game like that. I know she was only 5 for 15, but she shot good from 3, and she was getting a lot of steals. So I don't know. Bree Jones and Dejanay Carrington have to step up because they don't get too much off the bench. They had 4 bench points versus how many did the Minnesota Lynx had? They had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They had 16 bench points. So, and then pretty much everybody in the Lynx starting lineup was in double figures. So I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this series. Let me know how y'all feel about the WNBA semifinals. Who's y'all WNBA title picks? And yeah, just let me know, man. I'm enjoying the WNBA. WNBA is actually worth watching. And I'm not listening to nobody who speaks on the WNBA. Only Carolyn Pick, Andrea Carter, Aguma K, what's her name? Shanae. That's about it. Everybody else, I'm just kind of tuning out because they making it into something other than basketball, and I just want to talk the basketball. But I'm enjoying the WNBA playoffs so far. Outside the the first round was trash, but I'm enjoying the semis. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments about the WNBA and where it's headed.
Found some shit I love to do, so I can live comfortable. Searching for a peace of mind, need that when it's time to rhyme. Perfect in every line, any chance I get, and I know it takes time, but I will never quit.